Warning. The following episode contains spoilers about the movie Rings. And what else? That's it? Well, I'm just saying that it should be self-evident that if we're talking about Rings, that's what we're going to be spoiling, right? Well, I know I was there, but I don't really remember what else there was. That's all you want me to say? Come on, there's got to be... Wow, okay, well, I guess we should also warn you about Marianne's potty mouth. If you'd like to keep believing that she is a sweet, innocent little pixie, listen at your own peril. Roll the title. Welcome to Marianne's Macabre Movie Review.
Hi guys. Before we start the podcast, I wanted to talk to you about some of the fun things that we've been doing on IABD Presents. Did you know you were living your life wrong? Well, Nikki tells you how to live your life on YouTube will teach you what you've been doing wrong. Learn how to feed your face hole and how to ride a bike and not die for a long time. Also, check out IABDpresents.com for more fun stuff, and please support all of our programming at patreon.com/IABD. And now, on to the podcast. Welcome to Marianne's Macabre Movie Review. Today we saw Rings. Oh boy. We have that went to the theater, were troopers, and paid money for this. We had Traci, Kristy, Ariel, and Keith. And me. So,
and
wow. I'm Marianne of the movie review. Ta-da! So, we're going to go around and talk about what we thought about it briefly. 1 to 2 minutes. Some people have said, I don't think I'll have 2 minutes to talk about this movie.
And then they proceed to go past that, past that.
So, Traci.
Oh, me first?
Yes.
Okay. So, as expected, there were a lot of weird video clips. Even more in this episode of the saga. Mm-hmm. But really, a lot of it was the same story. Mm-hmm. The same weird face, the same thing rehashed. And frankly, the scariest part of the movie for me was an umbrella. And I feel like if an umbrella scare is the biggest scare in your scary movie, that's maybe not a good selling point. I do like that they still kept the through line, and it's good that they tried to, elongate the story a bit. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling the protagonist who had no sense of self-preservation. I mean, it was fun, I guess, but I wasn't particularly moved.
Right. Kristy?
I think it was best to be seen in a group because it was the reactions of everybody else was what made it for me. Yeah. If I were to watch this on my own, it would be while I was folding laundry and not really paying attention to what was going on. Although on my own, I probably still would have yelled out what was coming before it got there. I think, did they redo the story? I mean, because it's been a while since I saw The Ring, and I feel like the story that they told about the girl, about Samara, was completely different from the original.
Yeah, they did change it up a little bit. I mean, how many times has Samara been saved?
Right.
So, I don't know. We'll figure something out with it. I mean, I guess they're... I don't know, whatever.
A lot of it's like a lot of the stuff that they showed had no, I mean, they didn't explain the horses, they didn't explain, there was a lot of stuff that they didn't explain that was just kind of left, and I was like, well...
Well, I think Ariel's going to be able to explain everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know, right? No pressure. No pressure.
I know, right? Well, I will say that because I didn't watch the movie recently, but I do remember, they did explain the horses in the first film.
Right.
They explained how they died because they felt plague or something. Like she was doing it some way, somehow.
They ran off the cliff. Or
she
run off a boat and drowned themselves.
Yeah.
Because Naomi Watts had one jump off a boat in front of her and got Oh, I hated that scene.
Yeah, that really was.
Oh yeah,
kinda-
spoilers by the way.
I feel like
I know. Well, that's if you haven't seen the first
yeah.
one, you know.
Which was 2000.
you're lost.
2, 3.
But
You might want to check out the first one before you see this. But
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then or just watch the first one and don't go any further.
Yeah.
that actually, the
Stop
first one was
there.
pretty.
Yeah.
But I agree. I literally felt like they changed things. I'm like, wait
Yeah.
a minute. No, that's
Yeah.
not
Like
how
they were
they
trying
explain
to
it in the
start
first one.
over
Yeah.
completely.
probably could have been a
Exactly.
reboot, actually.
Yeah,
Could
yeah,
have
it
been.
could have
Could have
been.
been. Wasn't.
If you've never
but-
seen.
Do we know that it wasn't?
Yes, I was looking on IMDb.
Well, I think that they were trying to maybe do a prequel
They
reboot.
even
It was-
said that. They said this is. It was rumored that this is going to be a prequel, but it is not. The director came out and said, "No, this is not a prequel." It's like,
This is
oh,
just something
dude,
to put on my resume.
yeah. Keith, or do you have?
Well, I want to say something too. When you think about this logically, hey, I something scary took place in this area of evilness, if you will. Why would you go alone? That was my only issue.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, why?
Yeah.
My boyfriend's right over
We'll
there.
be right
Come
back.
on.
He just went to a diner that he could walk to.
I
And
know.
I could see him walking to.
I even went right past it, to get
Yeah.
to where I had to
Yeah.
go.
I'm sorry. The second the man opens the door and says, "The boy is not with you, huh?" I'd be
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I know, like, oh, yeah, he is actually.
Yeah. He's about 2 feet behind me.
Let me go grab him. But, he's slow.
Did I tell you he's a ninja? You can't hear him.
You can't hear him breathing all the way
Yeah.
back there. He's coming. But
Yeah.
that part, and honestly, there was a few issues that I had with her that didn't make sense. The film was moving way too fast in the beginning. I'm like, where are we? What are they doing?
Oh yeah, that was a lot of skipping and
Jumping around. I
Right.
mean, it was like, wait, what? Why is she in this room reaching for this door, getting Braille on her fingers? I'm like,
Yeah.
well, wait, how's that happening? Because it just didn't move. The flow of it was kind of weird, and it
Yeah.
kind of jumbled around.
Keith.
I can't remember anymore. No, I think I probably enjoyed it more than most of you overall.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
I didn't expect it to be scary necessarily. I don't really look forward to. I mean, that's not what I'm looking for in a movie or a horror movie in particular, I guess. So, I mean, just like sci-fi, I think I've said this before. I was saying something like this on the.
Phantasm one.
Was it Phantasm or
Yes,
was
it
it the other
was.
one too?
No, it was Phantasm.
Okay. Well, yeah, I like the idea of them trying to do something with the franchise. I'm just looking at the story overall, which, certainly there are always problems with these things,
Indeed.
inconsistencies and whatever, and I don't know, what are they going to do?
Right. So I do not like jump scares.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
So there were so many of them in this that didn't have to do with anything being scary. That's the thing. It's like I'm okay with the jump scare if you're in an intense scene, but the umbrella scene,
Umbrella Man.
for fuck's sake.
I think we all jumped when that
Yeah.
umbrella.
Because it was
Yeah.
like, oh,
I knew you were going
It was
to.
like a little.
I enjoyed it. However, I enjoyed it because I was in a group of awesome people.
Yeah.
If I had to watch this by myself, I think I would have been screaming at the TV a lot. Going, what is going on? What are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't open that door.
I think we all were yelling
Yeah.
at there anyway.
Yeah, it was
regardless.
it was
Where
very.
are you going?
What are you doing?
So about the scariness or lack thereof.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem that they were working with was that everyone was up by this point rather familiar with the way that she works. You're thinking to yourself, well, no, she can't do this yet because that's not the rules. That's not the way this works.
Yeah.
7 days, whatever. Also, you started to figure out halfway through, or however long it was, when she had sort of taken up this mission of her own. You didn't really have the sense of supernatural peril because it didn't make any sense. Why would Samara try to hurt her if she was obviously hurting her toward?
Yeah.
That's hurt and heard. Sorry.
So here's the thing. Okay, go ahead. Keith.
I'm sorry. One last thing. Yeah, I was going to say, but what started to happen was the sense of peril was ordinary things like
Right.
there's a fucking centipede there, or
I don't like bugs.
or why would you go down to this basement with this water? There's a snake, or
Snake.
Yeah, the snake.
or there could be anybody just lurking around the corner, just like a regular person, just like grab your
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Let me go inside a very small coffin area.
Just
to
yeah.
read
Oh,
some text.
yeah.
Oh my gosh,
It's
that was
like
stupid.
these are all like natural claustrophobia or natural phobias that people have. That it's like, yeah, I see what you're doing, but this is not supernatural or scary. At least for people that don't have those phobias. So the one thing that turned it around for me was I've read the books, Ringu and Ringu 2 and all that stuff. The end of the film actually syncs right up with the end of the books. That she was trying to have a rebirth, and this girl does turn into, in the book, it's Sadako, because it's the Japanese version. We can't have the same name.
Yeah.
What?
Maybe she became Sadako at the end.
She became Samara. For goodness sakes, Keith.
We don't know that.
Keep up with it.
Had there been a post-credit sequence, maybe they would have explained.
I
this,
know,
this is not
maybe.
Sadako.
Yeah.
This is Samara.
So,
Skimping out on the stinger.
so yeah, that brought it back around for me. However, the journey in between, my goodness. Okay, so the guy on the airplane. Did the airplane crash or no?
I mean,
They
think that's what he said at the
the plane
beginning.
crashed.
that the plane
Oh,
All this
right,
stuff
he
got
died in a plane
done.
crash.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it was all in. But
So-
where did it crash? Was it crashing in Seattle, or did it crash?
So the woman that had seen the videotape before was not Sky.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
for goodness sakes.
Right.
It looked a lot like her.
They look
didn't
very
it?
Yeah.
similar. The actresses did look similar.
Yeah.
So then Sky is looking for a VCR along with the professor.
Who did not make enough money to live in an apartment that swanky? I
Yeah.
will tell you.
Or have a really cool rave club at the
Yeah.
top of the building in
Yeah.
the school.
I was looking.
How
at
did
this-
he even manage to have that? I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
With special keys.
Special
Yeah.
keys. I was like, how did he?
This is elite.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we to the things that
Yeah,
we
oh
liked?
yeah, we're all going to run. This is the freeform section.
Yeah.
Like and dislike.
Freeform.
Well, frankly, I mean, going along with what Keith said, there are some really interesting changes to the rules, and I think that that's always kind of exciting to a series.
Yeah.
Like, you get used to the rules in the first movie. The second movie, you know, there's like a challenge. You're not sure if they're going to make it or not. And then, you know, in the continuation, or even just a 1, 2, 3 act play, you know, this is where we know the rules and we expect them, and then they change them.
Yes.
When they digitized that movie and he started using that as a scientific experiment, I thought that was actually really
That was
interesting.
really
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It
frankly,
was.
I could have watched them do scientific experiments with that for like a whole movie.
Yeah.
And
Like,
I like how they were saying Samara's angry. She's upset, and
because
you're
they
cheating.
changed the rules. They
Yeah.
cheated.
Yeah.
And that I thought was really cool, and I kind of would love to have seen more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it is true that towards the second half of the film, I started getting nervous about her going into places. Now, I was also mad, but like it
Yeah.
started to make me feel uncomfortable. She went alone down in that thing. I was mad at her, but then I also was like, oh, there's some bad guys in there. Like, and it didn't even
Yeah.
need to be
I
a
was
monster.
waiting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It was the human element that they put
Right.
back in the movie.
Yeah. You're like, it's no longer supernatural. It's now we've got a big bad that
That could be just a person.
I
Yeah.
even remember, like, with glee and excitement, like, once we figured out the priest thing, I was like, oh, maybe she'll kill him.
Yeah.
Kill him. And I was just so excited for that.
Maybe
That I
That
was
was
like,
commit
gratifying.
homicide.
Actually, she was
So
like, "Come on,
good.
get up, get the phone, get up."
But I think really my biggest frustration was just her lack of common sense. And maybe, and maybe that's part of it, you know, is that she was being tricked and herded. But she was clearly being herded because she doesn't have any self-preservation instinct. You know, like,
Didn't that come up in Sadako versus Kayako, or whichever?
yes.
The idea that the house was seducing.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
That was-
Ju-on or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, that we watched
The Grudge.
The Grudge versus The Ring this weekend.
Cool.
And they actually, Lauren's idea was that the Sadako and Kayako, the house, were seducing people, like luring people and making them do things.
Well, specifically the next door neighbor girl who moved next door to the Ju-on house.
Yes.
And didn't seem to have much common sense about it. It was comical, like how many people were telling her, "Don't do this.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Hey, what's going on in this house?"
Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing, like that kind of frustrated me. He thinks that he knows his girlfriend's missing. Mm-hmm. He thinks that she might be in a bad place. He sees there's a smear of her blood, possibly her blood, on the window, and he just stares at it, and he knocks on the door. Like, why is he suddenly really polite?
What's romantic that you touch
the blood? Like,
okay, so two more things. The rock through the church.
She broke through a church window, but
then couldn't get out of the house.
Like, not to escape.
What was the other? Oh, yes, the stupid callback to Orpheus and Eurydice. I was like, are you English lit? And I was like, it's Greek lit.
The devil. And the devil.
Yeah.
He's like, the devil gave it back. Like, no, stop that.
That did not happen.
If you were going to reference mythology, do it friggin' right.
I have a correction for you, Marianne.
Yeah.
What you literally said was, "For fuck's sake."
Yeah.
During that part.
Yes. All right. Yes.
And it was the greatest thing.
It was like,
actually, that's what he was trying to. Yeah,
it was like
loudly whispered.
Whatever,
I heard that.
Whatever you do, don't look back.
Oh my goodness.
And then you hear this.
For fuck's sake. I knew she was going to have that. Why does a girl never save a guy at the beginning? I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Is she really going to save him? She needs to have this hero complex so bad.
There were a lot of little things that were just not like spoon feeding, like how they scratched on the wall all the different names for the baby. Like, why would she? Like, that just was not necessary. I feel like,
oh my gosh, it's Samara.
I'm gonna scratch
that one.
Sarah. Like, I can just see her like writing in her yearbook. Like, no, I'm just gonna scratch on the wall.
Has to start with an S.
Stop. Just like, and that's the thing. There are parts of the movie that were really clever, and then parts that were just so spoon-feedy, I just was disappointed. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, overall, it was not a terrible movie for me. Like,
no, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. It was just, there were parts where I was like, oh my god, what is going on?
Break a damn window.
Yes.
Not the church window. No.
Yeah, they did pick weird times to be polite. When they had desecrated a grave, they had breaking and entering into a church. Dude, like, assault and battery. I mean, there's all these things that they did. These small little crimes.
That window survived a flood and not that teenage girl. Like, that's a shame.
Yeah.
So could they have telegraphed the guy getting up and hitting that guy any more?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I guess they could have.
They could have. I mean,
they telegraphed a lot, man. I was just like screwing around when I was yelling shit out, but I didn't. It's like, wow.
Yeah, she was dead on 3 times.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I assumed at the beginning that he pulled his own eyes out. Like, that's what I was waiting for.
Oh yeah.
Like, because here's the thing: if I was going to be haunted for the rest of my life by a girl in a movie, I might do that too.
Yeah. If that is the only record that you have is to not be able to see anymore, then yes, that's what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of telegraphing going. Makes me feel smart when I when I can yell shit out. I'll be like, I know it's coming. It makes me feel smart.
I mean, I feel smart, and then I get disappointed. Like,
I know, I do get. I'm like, oh man, I knew this.
But there were things, like I said, that I really liked about them changing the roles.
Yeah.
And that makes it kind of interesting. You're like, oh, okay, you're going to shake it up a little. What do you got for me? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're going to tell me exactly what you got.
Show me what you got.
It's funny, actually, mine was the opposite. I was like waiting. I was like, wait, they're adding stuff. If I was in this game, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
It was like,
why are they changing the rules on me? I have to, not only do I have to make a copy, but somebody has to watch. But I mean, technically, in the second movie, they established that you have to get someone else to watch it.
Yeah.
But they didn't, I mean, the copying of the thing was kind of dropped off. So I'm thinking like, oh, okay. So in this one, not only do we have to make a copy, you have to get over here and watch this movie with, Right. Because, I mean, the opening of the second one, he got a friend to come over, but she wasn't watching it. She was like this, and she still came after him. So initially, when this was going on, I would have hated to be in this situation, because I would have been like, well, wait, what do I do?
You just made me realize something, actually, because I was thinking about that during, the Ring versus Grudge thing, because they were obviously jumping around because the rules were going to be too complicated for what they were trying to do. It was going to get contradicted. So are you saying in the first movie they didn't have to do the thing where you had to make somebody watch it necessarily? Just the copy was enough, right?
Yeah, just the
You had
copy.
to copy. Well,
They did have to watch
the
it.
conceit the conceit was that you made a copy and put it into the world.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much,
Like-
just let the...
Assuming that
float around.
someone would probably watch
Gotcha.
it.
Eventually it
So-
would get seen by someone.
If you think about that, they had to change that for this because they're bringing in the internet and digital
Right,
things.
right,
so they
right.
could have
That's
just like
true.
kept going copy, done.
That was
Yeah.
the one
And,
thing
Or
that I
just
thought
put it on
was...
YouTube or something.
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Well-
that was one thing I thought was
Yeah.
funny was
Everybody
we're
would go
still
to
dealing with VHS
Yeah, oh,
in
yeah.
2017.
Yeah.
Really?
Sort of.
But
Yeah.
that's kind of the magic artifact of the movie, though, because I mean, that would be considered an ancient relic now.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You
how
know?
it began,
So that's the
technically.
cursed
Yeah.
ancient relic is the VHS tape.
And now
then
it's on the
VCR.
internet.
7 days to what?
So the other
What?
thing
Is there
about
a
the,
sale? What are we talking about?
about the books is she's a virus in the books, so
Yeah.
updating it makes it, changing the rules is the virus mutating.
And
it.
yeah,
Oh,
maybe that's
okay.
Oh, wow.
That
Okay.
makes
putting it
sense.
on
See, I didn't know
video.
That's actually-
putting it on digital
is another
is what
way
changed
to get
the
it.
rule.
Ah,
Yeah.
could've
Maybe
caused
that
a
was the
mutate.
first rule that got changed.
That's the significance of them talking about. Oh, she's angry and blah 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 stuff. So
I want to
That
know.
actually makes a lot of sense
Yep.
then now.
Oh, never mind. I just thought about
I feel like
it.
we're creating some really awesome headcanon. Let's keep
Yeah.
talking.
I had a moment where I was like, what were the cicadas about? But I already know. I've already figured it out. The whole rebirth thing. The 17-year locust or
13 in this case.
Yeah,
She
what
was
was it?
shedding
It
her
was
skin.
brood something.
Yeah.
And it was
Oh,
like,
that was
I was like, what's the big
Cicadas
deal?
are so yucky.
I love
Now,
cicadas.
now maybe
I
I
love
forgot
crunching on them.
because I can't remember if I'd even seen the second Ring movie, but was there any spoken understanding about her original parentage in any of this? I don't think so, right? The
No,
idea was that she was
really.
adopted.
Yeah.
Well, she was coming through the kid. That was the point.
And
I think that was
Oh,
another
Laura
rebirth
was the
kind
kid,
of-
yeah.
Yeah,
The
she was
original?
coming through the kid.
In
Right.
Ring? Okay, I was
But
trying to
that-
I
remember
forgot about the
what-
adoption thing. So yeah,
Yeah, so
maybe
she-
they never really did establish.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of like that. They said that this evil was born into the world and this family adopted her and treated her poorly and all these terrible things happened. And I like that they kind of filled in that blank. Well, what was she? Where is she from? Like, that's cool. It was kind of a creepy way to do it. And
Yeah.
thankfully, though, they did not do that thing that they like to do in scary movies or gross movies where they overpress the unwanted sexual encounter situation.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really grateful for that.
Yeah, that was
because
really good.
They did
Yeah.
not need to do that. We get it. We understand that was not.
Yeah, that's not what was important about this right now.
Right.
Yes, we know the girl was in a horrible dungeon.
Right.
Like thinking about human trafficking kind of situation
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on right
Yeah.
there.
Well, we don't know that anything about the original encounter was non-consensual. It's just that he certainly wouldn't want that to get out.
That's
It's
true.
a scandal.
Yeah,
It was
that's
just like,
true.
oh shit, let's raise the baby together. Let's just come down here for a second.
Yeah.
Come chill out.
You know
Hey,
what's
I
funny
want to
is
show
actually-
you my fallout.
Did you
shelter.
see? You said you never saw Lights Out, right?
Oh, no, I saw that one.
Did you see how the comparison though
Yeah.
between those two
Oh,
films
now I kinda
with
wanna
this
see
one?
it. I have not seen that one.
Because when you think about, the situation being as it was with the priest and this woman who was locked in, confinement for 9 months, and you can see the comparison between
Yeah.
those two films, just with that alone.
So, before we get to ratings, we have a story time from Traci about
geez.
Joe.
Okay, so the reason I am riding solo tonight is because my husband went to go see The Rings, and he has always been a fan of seeing matinee movies by himself. Very few people that are there. You can see a movie on your lunch break or whatever, and maybe clock back in a little later than you're supposed to. So he went and saw The Ring by himself, and he had never seen a Japanese horror movie before. So he tells the story so much better than I do, but when he went in, it was him and an elderly woman. She sat several rows behind him, and he assumed, like some people that we are aware of, she went to the movies not knowing what she was going to go see.
Yeah.
So he's like, she's breathing heavy and munching on popcorn, and he's like, oh man, she's going to have a bad afternoon, because he knew it was a scary movie.
Yeah.
So about, half an hour into the movie or so, he's kind of freaked out and realizes that he no longer hears her gasping and wheezing and breathing and crunching on popcorn. And he was like, for a minute, I just thought about it. And he's like, no, I'm going to turn around. And he said he turned around, and the woman's head was back and her mouth was open. And he's like, so I've got two options. She's either asleep or she's dead. And he was like, I turned back around and I tried to keep watching the movie, and he's like, well, maybe she'll get up. And then his brain tells him that's not better. So, so he decides to get up and leave. So he leaves. He says something to one of the people and never goes back into the theater. He says something on his way out, and he just doesn't go back. And so this whole time he goes home, and he's thinking about it. He's halfway through the movie, so there was never any conclusion in his brain. At that point, he's just stuck in the terror of that moment. And he's like, that lady might have died. I don't know what just happened to me. And he's like, okay. I can't sleep. I'm freaked out. I don't want the TV on in my house. He's like, I'm going to go and see this movie again, because clearly the ending will make me feel better. It'll resolve. And he was like, I just had never seen a Japanese horror movie before. They don't end well. And so finally he sat through the whole movie and was worse. He's like, yeah, no, I'm never going to see any more movies like that.
Was that the first The Ring?
The very first The Ring.
The American version?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so
So was the lady dead?
we will never know.
I'm kind of disappointed that it wasn't like she started a few rows back, he turned around and she was right there.
I know. I was expecting her to be like right
No, then
behind
I
him.
would not be here. Yeah.
Yeah, that
She
would.
had her mouth open, and then when I
Yeah.
turned around again, she was right behind me.
He just kept saying, he was like,
That's
well, maybe
chaos.
she'll get up.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll wake up. And then he's like, that's not better.
What you need to do is turn around and throw some popcorn at her.
Yeah.
Right in the mouth.
Yeah. Aim for the mouth.
Yeah, but what reaction do you want?
I
What
want her to
reaction?
wake up, so I know she's not dead.
Yeah, so that was,
Wow.
he left the theater and was like, there's a lady in there.
She might be dead.
Possibly dead. I didn't do it.
Sir, it's just on the screen there. It's not real.
It's not real.
Yeah.
No, but really. There's a lady in there. So that's why Joe will not be joining us and apparently Shantae dressed up like Samara for a Halloween party a couple years
nice.
ago,
Oh.
and she tried to sneak up on him, knowing that he had this, and
my
he's like,
gosh.
I almost broke her arm.
Oh,
She snuck up on him with her hair all down in her, or maybe I think it was either Shantae or Lauren, probably Shantae, but
Probably
yeah,
Shantae.
hair down and face, and he's like, oh no.
Oh, before we get to the ratings, I wanted to say Ariel was our scaredy cat of the group, and she was like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. You
Yeah,
said
it was
she looked away.
No, I didn't look away. It was more of the fact that I was, I got
Looking at your
got
watch.
bored
Yeah.
for a brief second. Seriously enough, I was like, I need to time this. Okay, I'm not bored anymore. But I wanted to make sure I at least threw that in.
She went by hand grasps, I guess. She did hold my
grab your
hand 3 or
hand.
4 times.
I did have to reach over because
Yeah.
the music was getting excited.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then it let me down. I was like, oh, well, never mind.
So
Thank you.
here's another thing I wanted to mention. The intense music for a fucking elevator.
Yeah, the floor opens and yeah, it's just like,
They
What
wouldn't have
the
put
heck?
that key in there if it wasn't supposed to be used.
Yeah.
It's like nothing is wasted.
The gun in
right?
the first act,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yes.
It's just.
I was so mad about that dude's apartment. I can't.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is so. I mean, it's all a fantasy, but damn, that is the part that busts it down for me. Is
Yeah.
a
Maybe
dude
he
that's
had
working
tenure.
at a university does not make
He's
enough
not old enough
money
to have
to
tenure.
live in a swank ass apartment.
Let's say he has
with all that
tenure
expensive furniture
and that
Tenure
swanky
or
ass
not.
apartment, but look at his car.
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh my
God. All the money into his house.
that's how you save money.
God.
Yeah, it's just like,
That's an Eames chair or whatever, and I'm like, I know this because I'm a furniture freak.
That's
and
what
I was
killed
just
it
so,
for you.
Yes, that's what kills it for me when they have unrealistic living quarters. I hate that.
I was
I'm
just.
like, he's not making enough money. I don't care what kind of professor
Or
he
maybe
is.
he was one of those people that went to sales because clearly he was at a garage-ish sale
Yeah.
to find that VHS.
That whole place
Well-
done in thrift store.
I know.
Yeah,
Maybe that was off
that
the-
could have been.
like-
oh, there's one last thing I wanted to observe, which was, to me, it was kind of funny, the coincidence with Vincent D'Onofrio essentially playing a blind. So it's like the Kingpin and Daredevil combined.
Oh, and that bug dude from Men in Black.
Men in Black, yeah.
I was like, oh god, he's got bugs again.
Oh god, that was him.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He's in every movie.
He was Edgar?
Edgar. Yeah, and then watching him walk around, I was like, sugar water.
I wanted to say, oh, I made you tea. I was going to make you tea, but all I have is this sugar water.
I know. I was like, oh my god, it's bugs.
She's going to get flashy thinged.
So I was wearing the sunglasses.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
So Tracy, what would you rate it? And you can give it 2 scores. Quality versus entertainment.
Okay, so 10 is like what? Like the best movie I've ever seen?
10 is the best movie you've ever seen.
And 1 is the worst?
1 is the worst.
Okay,
Perhaps.
I'll say with a group dynamic, like entertainment value, I would say it's probably, I don't know, a 6 or 7. It was fun. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
If since you are specifically focusing on the macabre, scary, I would say insofar as scariness, it was probably a 3 or 2.
Yeah.
2 or 3. There were some silly scares. But I mean, it was
Umbrella.
I'm telling you what, I'm gonna make sure
cats
there are no black umbrellas in my house. I'm done.
So, another thing was there was a whole lot of face looking in the umbrella scene,
staring at each other,
in the thing where they were just like, "Oh, what's this? let me look at this grave."
Like,
why do you put your face
with the modern conveniences, she used her cell phone light for everything. Why wouldn't she just stick her cell phone in that crypt and take a flippin' picture?
Right.
That was the other thing that,
And, you know, like the
But
modern
let's crawl
versus
all the way inside it.
like the modern versus the like, and that's the thing. Like, so the teacher who had this weird like crazy techno club with all his research also still had all these old printed out newspapers, which probably didn't exist anyway, printed out. Like, it just, to me, that weird juxtaposition just doesn't make sense. Like,
And the flashlight that had like this much light when it shined on the wall. It's like, you have a phone that was just like...
Yeah, exactly. The broad.
But let's
nobody
take
carries a
look.
mag light anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Kristy?
Okay. I was really angry about another thing too. It was the burning of the bones part. I was like, anyway.
Probably need more heat than that.
Yes.
it's not gonna do anything.
Messing with my forensic anthropology class right now.
Well, if you think
damn
about
it, I have a degree in this.
it didn't actually work though. So.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, call
But
the
I was like-
Winchester.
I was
They'll fix
exactly.
it.
I was like, oh, this is such a horrible funeral. Anyway, I don't know how to rate it. I would say probably it wasn't, like I said, if I were on my own, it would be something I would put on while I was folding laundry, and it wouldn't be enough to tear me away from folding a t-shirt. I mean, it was all right.
You do have pretty good t-shirts,
It was
though.
good to, I got mad t-shirt folding skills, but it was good. It would be a good thing to have playing in the background while you're doing something else or while I'm doing something else. But like I said, it wouldn't be enough to make me stop what I was doing to see what the hell was happening on the screen. So I don't know. I'd give it like a 5, if that. And it wasn't scary. I mean, because, we saw stuff coming before it got there. So we knew what was going to happen. So we were already ready for it. So, I mean, like a 2 or a 3, like Tracy said, I would say for scary, it was fun. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it's fun. It's fun because there's people, that get it and enjoy it, and I enjoy their company. So it's a different movie, I think, than if I'd seen it on my own.
Cool.
My turn. Well, I would say, as a group, I'll give it a 6. I know it's on the lower end, but it was hilarious being able to reach out for you, Marianne. That was just to have your hand waiting for me in the wings was so great. So I just want to say a big thank you to you for, even though I wasn't even scared, it was just like, oh, music. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Something's about to take place. Give me your hand.
It was good at raising tension.
It really was.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
And then not delivering. And all
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
I know, because I mean, yes, I am a scaredy cat. I will admit it. Hello, at the AA meetings, I'm a scaredy cat.
Yeah.
I'm Ariel, thank you. But with that being said, I was let down. I wanted to be like, oh, like I'm just not going to sleep well tonight. Keep looking around the car, making sure. But it was like, oh, I'm bored. Yeah. Okay, this is getting interesting. But I kept getting mad at our leading actress because she was so fucking stupid. Yeah. I'm like, no, don't go down there. Go get your boyfriend. Don't go there by yourself. Yeah. And it was just, okay. So with that being said, and I was ready to get scared, I would say it was a 2 when it came to being scared.
It's scary. Yeah.
Because if I was at home, I would have been like, okay, this is not working out.
Yeah.
And probably try to find something else.
What else is on?
I had turned on like the Avengers or something.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what to do.
Keith, what about you?
Ratings are pretty much the same. The 2 for scary, 6 overall. If we had to go strictly by quality, I did enjoy, as we were saying before, the scientific parts of what they were trying to accomplish. Mm-hmm. I think they covered some of the concepts.
Yeah. That had potential.
It was such a missed potential.
When you think about like the idea of communication, how would a spirit like that work? How would it start to navigate and technology and so forth? It's like if you think about how. So the whole purpose of what she's even doing with the virus is. She has to start off saying, okay, let's make sure I get people's attention. I'm going to kill you if you don't do this. Or I'm just going to keep killing people until they start paying attention. Mm-hmm. They start figuring out the pattern. Mm-hmm. It's all like a search pattern to find the right person to inhabit eventually. Mm-hmm. So once it finally gets to the mark, then, okay, special message for you. Pay attention to this.
Here's my new host.
Yeah, come over here. So it's kind of, efficient in that way.
I guess my question. Why was she coming back? What was the point of her coming back? Okay, and what was she going to do? Just be an old lady and then die peacefully?
Just be evil.
I think she was going to be evil, yeah.
Oh.
I think so.
Sure.
She found her calling.
Whatever. But she was only going to live as long as she hadn't lived before and then just be dead.
Well, as the professor was saying, the soul has to keep trying to do it. Survival, so forth.
A shitty aspiration.
Well, I think that maybe that hits on something. Like that he believes that her soul is stronger and has a stronger will to continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was about reincarnation.
I think that she had evil plans. She wanted to pet a hairless cat for the rest of her life and then find a new host.
Okay. I didn't have enough evil in one lifetime.
So you didn't. Your scores were, what was that again?
6.
Yeah, around a 6.
6 and a 2.
The most it could have gotten would have been an 8 because you had to deduct a point for each, for fuck's sake.
That was awesome.
That
was two FFSs, so that gets it down to a max 8.
Brings down the average.
Yeah. So 6, for me, the scares definitely were a 1. It was not scary at all.
Umbrella.
The umbrella.
The umbrella. I mean, as I said in previous podcasts, jump scares are cheap thrills. It's just we're having a quiet scene. Okay, now we're loud. It's like they did that with the door, the stupid umbrella. It's like, okay, done. There was too many of them, and not scary. And they telegraphed all the things that were supposed to be scary.
Yeah, they certainly did.
But enjoyment factor was definitely 6 or 7 because. It's great having everybody around that actually that has seen the other movies, that knows how corny they might be, and still in for the funness. So, now, what does anybody want to promote? I know we have a few actors and writers in the group, and some people that are very passionate about certain charities. So, whoever wants to start can go.
I guess I should probably say something. I have a kids play, my first one. It's going to be April 7th through the 9th. I'm not acting like I forgot, my goodness. But I'm really excited about this one. It's like another maiden voyage for me because I've never worked with solely kids.
Oh, so that's what you mean by kids.
Yes, it's a kids, well, except for 3 adults, but prominently a kids ensemble at the Abbey Theater.
Yay.
What's it called? Oh my God, isn't that terrible?
Wow.
We can edit that
right? That's not important.
I'm
whatever.
so excited about it. I can't remember the name.
Right?
That's so ridiculous.
Just come see it.
It'll be awesome.
You know around where it is.
I know you know where it is.
It's 3 adults and a bunch of kids. That's
Look for it in the newspapers everywhere.
Exactly.
3 adults and a bunch of kids.
yeah.
I'm sorry, the East Valley Ferry, the Adventure of the Lost Wand.
There we go.
Woo!
The
Got
East
it.
Valley ferry boat.
I'm sorry.
Were you saying the East Valley ferry boat?
Oh no, East Valley Ferries, the Adventure of the Lost Wand.
Gotcha.
Okay. No boats.
No
No
boats.
boats in this.
Ferries.
Yeah.
None
They
whatsoever.
fly around. They don't. Really
Ferries cold.
What about umbrellas? I really apparently have a hard one.
Draw the line.
No
umbrellas,
umbrellas are in the show. That's
So
okay.
Ariel is also in It's All Been Done Radio Hour sometimes.
Sometimes
Along
I get
with
the opportunity
Keith.
to guest.
Yes. I'm in there more often.
He is in the monthly shows. Ariel is a guest star. Keith, what else do you have?
Sketchy Sex is closing this weekend, so this probably won't matter for everyone out at home. This Friday and Saturday being, March, was it?
25th.
Yes. But also, next month, no, actually, it starts in May, Theater Roulette at Mad Lab. Starts, May 13th, I believe, is when the run starts. It's like 3 different nights, or 3 different shows entirely that run in a cycle, going in on the final day of the run, all 3 in the same day. So there's also the audiobook that just went out not too long ago.
Keith just did an audiobook. And
Right on.
this is his 3rd one. But this most recent one I listened to, and I thought it was amazing.
Thank you for saying so.
I've said that a few times. You'll hear me always talk about Keith and the podcast because I'm very proud of him. But go ahead and tell him the title of your book and the author.
Yes, it's The Mystery of Dr. Johnson's Death, A Spiritual Scandal in the Punjab by David Christopher Lane.
Thank you.
Nice.
So, Kristy and Traci, charities or any fun stuff that you're doing that you want to talk about?
The March for Babies is April 30th this year in Columbus.
That's
It's March for
counterintuitive.
Dimes.
I know, it is. Yeah, the March of Dimes.
I love that.
Shouldn't it be the April for babies?
I know.
I know. They still
Well,
do it in March.
If we did it in March, it would be the freezing cold frigid water
With babies.
of babies.
With little babies, and that's not fun.
And so even if you aren't able to donate money, they are still looking for volunteers. So I think it's, I'm totally cheating and looking it up online. It's marchofdimes.org, and they help premature babies. They help women who have had premature babies, and they help try and prevent, the illnesses and death that can come from prematurity. So it's really close to my heart. So April 30th, marchofdimes.org.
Cool.
Love that one. Got some family members that were preemies, so know all about that.
Oh, me too, my brother.
Kristy?
Wow. The Billy Ireland Cartoon Library and Museum has an upcoming exhibit that opens on March 25th and runs until October 22nd of this year. It is the 40th anniversary of the Billy Ireland Cartoon Library and Museum. It's all, really nice, weird stuff it's called Tales from the Vault, and it's stuff from our 3 million plus inventory of cartoon art.
Wow,
awesome.
that's really cool.
So there's some really old, weird, obscure stuff in there.
That sounds fun.
It is.
40 years, you said?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Cool beans.
And
It
edited.
is. Come see it, people. Come see
yeah,
it. I don't have enough people come to my museum.
I don't think I have anything other than Keith to promote, so
And this,
What
and
about
you're also...
your Zumba stuff?
I don't have any classes myself. I don't have any Zumbathons coming up, so
Maybe you could get some
I know I want to.
listeners.
You need
out there,
someone to
you
be a
wanna get your
Zumba teacher
Zumba
at your
on.
school or somewhere, church or someplace. You want to do some Zumba? Talk to me. I'm the Dean's List Dance Fitness.
Preferably in the Ohio area.
Preferably in the Ohio area. That is correct.
Or travel to
There are
one
people
or the other.
outside of Ohio
Yeah.
that listen to podcasts.
I know, right? All right, folks. Everybody say bye.
Bye.